Hi, welcome to A Punk with Toys. My name is Lawrence, and today we're going to be taking a look at the G.I. Joe Scarlett O-Ring. This is part of the Classics review, and here she is. And if I'm able to get this figure to stand, I will be absolutely amazed, shocked, because this is my original Scarlett that I had as a kid, a straight arm, and let's just say she's extremely wobbly. Anyway, we're going to take a look at this. We're going to look at the detail, and I'll quickly mention it again as I did in my first review of the Snake Eyes, where I had the straight arm and the swivel arm figure, is that I wanted to go back because when I got into Classified and started comparing these figures and doing reviews, I started noticing all kinds of detail on these figures that I had never seen before, because again, we weren't collecting, we were playing because we were kids. So just for people that maybe wonder, hey, what is the detail on that Scarlett? I haven't seen one in 30 plus years. Well, we're going to take a look at this. I'm going to point out some things that I think are pretty cool, and you're going to get to see the love and the detail that was actually put into these by the creators of the G.I. Joe line. So anyway, we're going to get into this, but before we do, if you like this type of content, you want to see more of these, you want to be notified, take a second, hit that like button, hit that subscribe button, then hit that bell notification so you're notified every time I drop a Classics review. Okay, so let's first look at her weapon, and this is her crossbow. And yes, this is not the original. This is from the accessory pack, okay? And I always thought that this was a scope. I'm assuming it still is. You got this handle that can hold it. And to be honest, she really can't pose it all that well. Now, I have never had a swivel arm figure, so it's hard to say if she can actually hold it properly. I just know that this one doesn't really hold all that well. You can see the bolt here. You got the tip of it. And again, it's already in the cocked position, ready to fire. And I could never tell if this was a handle or if this was supposed to be rope that's on the bottom. I'm pretty sure it's like the grip on the bottom. But I always thought that maybe that was a rope that, again, imagination, we were kids. Now as for Scarlett. Now, she's not the prettiest of figures. As a matter of fact, there aren't a lot of real pretty, a real American hero female. So she has the short hair, which I don't think anyone really cared for. It's one of those things we definitely kind of overlook, but they did try and put some detail into it. She has the same similar type of eyes where they're just kind of a little dab of paint, and you can never really tell if she's supposed to be happy or what. Right here you have a more modern style grenade. She doesn't have the pineapple grenade like some of the other ones, and then she has what I always assumed was some sort of protection on her. All right, so just a little bit of protection if she's putting the stock up to her forearm. For some odd reason, she has throwing stars. Now, I don't know if anyone ever realized or wondered, why does she have throwing stars? Was there ever really a need for it? Nothing on the inside here. And then over here, she has this very small pistol. I don't know how much good it actually is, but that is what it is there for. Now, she was supposed to be some sort of spy, so I guess it makes sense having a very small pistol there, but I never really understood the throwing stars because they weren't ready for ninjas. Ninjas weren't even in their wheelhouse at this time. All right. She does have a belt, and I love that you can see the loops. And we looked at it on the Snake Eyes where you could see the different loops. Now, there is no Hasbro symbol on here. It just looks like a regular clasp. So there wasn't the H or the Hasbro House logo at all. But on the back, I never really understood, but she had a slingshot. Now, I hope she has more than a crossbow, some throwing stars, and a slingshot when she's going into battle. But again, it is one of those really weird things. Couple pouches right here. And to be honest, I never really knew what this was. It looks like some sort of communication device, possibly. Again, as I mentioned, she is supposed to be some sort of spy for the most part. And then you have this nice knife right here that it's not even sheathed in. It just has a couple straps to hold it, a couple little pouches right down there too. So the one thing that was very interesting is that she does not have pegs. Now, I've talked to a couple people that show me that they have pegs in some of their figures, so I'm assuming maybe the older versions do. Someone said that the Quarrel from, I think it's Brazil, that she had the pegs, even though she's supposed to be a remake of this figure, just a repaint. But I can tell you that the straight arm Scarlett does not have pegs there, which obviously make her very difficult to stand. And not to mention she's wearing some sort of heeled boots. You can see what the articulation is. You can see how loose her leg is. All right. And the way the O-rings, I really didn't go over this in the Snake Eyes, and I don't know if I really need to. They just kind of shift back and forth, and they can move their legs wherever they need to. This leg is still actually pretty tight, believe it or not. Same with the arms. But she is pretty worn. Now, I never really noticed that she's pretty much wearing a leotard. All right, not until I got older that someone pointed out that she's wearing a leotard. She has her nice little gauntlets that run up here and her thigh-high boots. In some aspects, you could look at this and say, hey, is this really a kid's action figure when you start describing some of this stuff? But either way, this was the version that we had. Again, a lot of fun over the years playing with it. You always had the, this is where you're, if you wanted to take them apart, but where the backpacks were going to go. And again, these guys could do T-poses perfect. They always had, the 90 degrees right there. And this was, again, before they could bend their heads down. But all in all, a lot of fun figure. A lot of fun with this figure, but the detail that they put into this is, in my opinion, second to none. They just did so much stuff. And to talk about thinking outside the box and thinking forward is an understatement, because why would you have throwing stars? You had no idea there was going to be ninjas in the line, even though ninjas don't exist. And having the small little pistol, the slingshot, I'm not sure if another Joe ever got a slingshot. Probably not. But anyway, that is your O-ring Scarlett from 1982. All right, so that is your version 1 1982 Scarlett. Again, you see the crossbow, it just kind of hangs there. And I will say this, I'm very particular about how people pose their classified figures, even their 4-inch figures. When it comes to an O-ring figure, or hell, any figure that was made in the 80s, if you're able to get the weapon in, that is perfectly fine. If the stock's on the outside, that's fine. If you can't get it in the right hand or the left hand or whatever the proper hand is, that's fine. If you can only hold it by the tip, that's fine, because guess what? The last thing you want to do is break any of these thumbs. You don't want to break the crotches. Hell, O-rings are no big deal. I can swap those out all day, but you always want to be careful with this. And you can see how much this figure just flops around. But it means that it had many, many years of being played with. And again, yes, this is my original one from my childhood. And the fact that it's a straight arm, you could probably guess I got it in 1982. But anyway, I think it's time to wrap this up. Thank you so much for watching. Please take a second, if you like this type of stuff, you like this series, hit that like button, hit that subscribe button, then hit that bell notification so you're notified every time I drop one of these. Now, what I'm going to do is up here, I'm going to leave you a link to the Snake Eyes classic review that I did, and down here will be the playlist where all these videos are going to get dropped. Take care.